Good morning. It's actually good afternoon at this point. Welcome to day 15 of our East Coast road trip. We are in Noosa in a campsite, and today we are chilling. Feels really good to be back in Tonka. I'll quickly show you our little setup because I feel like he is currently in his prime. So in here, Jamie is making himself a sandwich. I've got my laptop, transferring files on the table we can set up, charging everything over there. And then, around the back here, Alice is just chilling. And Jamie also has a little work office. He's set himself up because he has an interview tonight. So, look at that. That's exactly why we wanted to do this in a camper van. You can go anywhere, anytime, and you have a little house. So cool.
I cannot tell you how important this chill day was. When you're doing a trip or you're on an adventure, an expedition which lasts 4 or 5 weeks or longer, I've learned that it's really important to plan these rest days so that you don't just recharge your batteries, but you recharge yourself. So we are properly chilled out here, really nice campsite. We even got to clean Tonka.
We are finally getting rid of all of those bugs we mercilessly slaughtered. Getting Tonka clean again. She's gonna look beautiful. At the car wash. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, look at that shine. Geographically, we are actually just over halfway between Cairns and Sydney already, but we still have 3 weeks left, so there's still plenty of time to explore beautiful places, starting with tomorrow when we'll be checking out more of Noosa, which everyone I've met so far has said is just stunning. So we're gonna skip this day, fast forward to tomorrow where we'll be exploring Noosa, because as nice as it is for me to chill in the pool, probably pretty boring for you to watch. So I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, we have fast forwarded 24 hours. It is now day 16. We're still in Noosa. And today, as I said yesterday in the pool, we are going to go check out Noosa Heads, which is apparently very beautiful. So yeah, just getting our packed lunch ready. Beautiful day again. Let's go.
Noosa Heads was another one of those places that we heard a lot about, so it seemed like the perfect place to sort of ease our way back into the groove. We picked a walk called the Coast Track. It was super chill, and almost immediately we found ourselves on a pristine beach, surfers riding the waves, peak Australia.
I'm no surfer. Some of those waves looked unreal, like way too big, crazy. I do want to try and surf at some point. I think when we get to Byron Bay, hopefully do a surf lesson there. But this place, man, it's so cool. It's living up to the hype. It's beautiful. best way to spend the day.
This is what Noosa Heads was like the whole way around the coastal track. Beautiful rugged coastline, perfect surf just crashing in, pristine beaches, lush rainforests. It's not hard to see why, for many people, this is a favourite spot. Another great thing about Noosa was that we were finally sort of south enough on the coast to not really have to worry about jellyfish. So we could go for a swim in the beaches and the rock pools and not be paranoid about dying.
Huge waves crashing over here. But this is exactly what you want. Oh! They are big. This is what you need on a hot day. Ah, this place is sick.
After an hour or two, we ended up at the impressive Hell's Gates.
Like a big loop around Noosa Headlands, so we're now heading back through like rainforest and jungle sort of area. Just a beautiful place, man. Everyone I've met on the trip so far, I was asking them what's your favourite place, where should we go, and all of them just always like Noosa, Noosa, Noosa. And yeah, it's living up to the hype. It's so beautiful. I wish we had more time here. Look at it. Beautiful place. I reckon the reason I get so thirsty is because I'm always hanging back to get these shots. And then I've got to catch up again. After our little hike, we're now going to find a cafe in the little town area. It's really cool because the national park and the town are literally like right next to each other. So we're going to go find ice cold drink.
As the day wore on, the more and more I was like, geez, like this place is so nice. It was really, really beautiful. The town was like a little hipster's paradise. There were loads of smoothie bars, cafes. It's right next to the beach, right next to the national park. The houses.
Some ridiculously nice houses around here. And who can blame them? What a nice place to live. This is their walkway. This is their pavement, guys. It's like a boardwalk through the jungle. Oh man. I want to live in Noosa.
The houses were insane, like proper millionaire mansions. So yeah, I could definitely live here.
Beautiful way to finish our day in Noosa. What's your verdict on Noosa?
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I wish I could live here, but I'm too poor.
Yeah, it does seem quite an affluent part of Australia.
Yeah.
Very nice though.
We ended the day at the top of the hill overlooking Noosa, hoping to catch a beautiful sunset. Unfortunately, the clouds had other plans.
Beautiful day here in Noosa. We're finishing it, sipping a beer, watching a non-existent sunset. Still beautiful though.
As darkness fell, we realised those weren't just normal clouds. A huge thunderstorm was brewing. As we drove towards our next camping spot, it became apparent we were driving straight into this storm.
Ooh, it's so cool.
Suddenly, like without any warning, it started bucketing down. Like literally the hardest rain I've ever seen. It felt like it was going to smash through the windscreen. It was that hard. We got the windscreen wipers on, they were going crazy. You could barely hear yourself. Suddenly it felt like we were in an episode of Storm Chasers.
We're in the middle of the biggest storm ever. Ever. It's crazy. Jamie is guiding us through. Moses. I have to go a little bit slow. Oh my god. Wow.
The sky was... it was literally like someone had dropped special effects in. The lightning was going crazy. It was lighting everything up as if it was in the middle of the day.
Oh my god.
Queensland is it's notorious for these huge tropical thunderstorms, and yeah, I've never seen anything like this. By the end of our drive, I think our windscreen wipers were a little bit worn out.
Oh, it's still popping off. Boys and girls, I don't know if you can really see me here, but we just drove through this crazy lightning storm. That was insane. Was not expecting that. Oh my god, it's still going. Yeah, we're in our campsite. We're gonna get to bed, and then tomorrow we'll be heading to our next little thing. I'll see you in the morning. Jamie, how was that driving, by the way?
It was pretty crazy.
Pretty fucked up.
Oh my god. Oh my god!
Oh my god, I got it on camera. Alright, it is day 17. Days are just rolling on by now. Last night we had a crazy lightning storm, but slept pretty well. It was pretty cool. And today we are at Australia Zoo, world famous Australia Zoo. Steve Irwin. It's going to be sick. I know we went to the Billabong Sanctuary, but the beauty of when you do the East Coast is like you meet people who are going the opposite way to you. And we met so many people who were like, you got to go check the Australia Zoo. Apparently it's just amazing, so be rude not to whilst we're here. Should be a good day.
I'm not sure why, but for some reason I hadn't put Steve Irwin's Australia Zoo into the original itinerary that we had planned. No idea why. Must have just slipped my mind, or I didn't see it when I was doing all the research, which is weird because it's such a big attraction. But I'm glad we managed to fit it in because it was awesome.
It's good to see the Parker ready for my arrival here. Notice of media production, guys. I didn't even ring them, and they just knew I was filming.
It goes without saying that Steve Irwin is a little bit of a legend. Even if you don't know that much about him, you'd likely recognise him as the wacky Australian guy who wrestles crocodiles, right?
And every single crocodile that I've ever captured has been different. They've all got their personalities. Some hit hard, like a ton of bricks, and some are a little more placid. Boys versus girls. You never know what the temperament of a croc's gonna be like.
When you dig a little deeper, Steve was so much more than that. He wasn't just wrestling these crocodiles for fun. That is pretty cool.
If I loosen my grip, he'll rip me to shreds. Go, 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 go!
But no, he was rescuing them from situations where there was conflict with humans and they were probably likely to be killed. So he would rescue these crocs, which is where you see him jumping out of the boat in his TV series and wrestling this huge. It's crazy. But yeah, he brought them back to this zoo. Australia Zoo was founded by his parents in the 1970s, and this was kind of where they would bring back these rescued crocs and reptiles.
Welcome to Australia Zoo. Mate, every single thing you see here today, myself and my mum and dad built from the ground up. And Terry and I, well, we're just continuing the family tradition. Please, come and have a look at the things we love the most, our animals. Let's have a look.
As you can imagine, there were a lot of crocodiles.
This girl is simply called Fang 2. Dun-dun-dun. What a beast. As you would expect in a Steve Irwin zoo, there are tons of crocodiles everywhere. This is proper Steve Irwin stuff. Bluey was captured using the jump-on technique. Steve jumped out of a boat onto Bluey, wrapped his legs around him, then flipped him into the boat. What the hell, man?
If I loosen my grip, he'll rip me to shreds.
I am absolutely loving these descriptions. Aggro. This bloke was a handful in the trap, so Steve called him Aggro, short for Mr. Aggressive. He is a big boy as well, he's over there. Where is he? There he is. He's huge. Due to his territorial nature, Aggro has a dislike for lawnmowers. So far he's killed 4 lawnmowers. And there's a picture of Steve mowing the lawn. Aggro doesn't look too happy. Oh man, this is so good.
Walking around, you could clearly see Steve's love and passion for all of this. And as his TV show became bigger and bigger, him and his wife Terry were able to sink the proceeds, all this money being generated by the merchandise in the TV show. They were able to use that to fund more conservation projects and new exhibits at the zoo. So this thing just started to grow and grow. The zoo no longer just houses crocodiles, it literally has everything. There's Komodo dragons, otters, cassowaries, koalas, dingoes, tortoises, wombats.
These are Australia's greatest excavators. The wombat, very famous Australian.
All of the world's deadliest snakes.
Beautiful specimen, look at that. Have a go with this. Double whammy. Woo! Woo! 2 fists. They stay down, stay down. Hey, stay down. Look at that. Hey. You're all right. Back in you go. Whoa. Might overstep the mark a bit there.
Fortunately, they're behind glass. Exotic birds, kangaroos.
Hello, mate. How's it going? Yeah, we're just travelling down the east coast, Kansas.
There were loads of talks that gave loads of information. It was a really fun experience walking around and sort of soaking all of this up and learning more about all these creatures.
Now these animals being reptiles, they're what we call ectothermic, so they need to rely on outside temperatures to actually regulate their own body temperature and maintain the perfect temperature that they need to help metabolize food and digest it, as well as do the other necessary parts of living the life of a tortoise. And so that shell can help them absorb heat fairly quickly, can potentially help them cool down fairly quickly if a breeze is going through.
I think the best show of the day, the best kind of talk, was the main event, which is the Wildlife Warriors show in the Crocoseum.
And here it is, the animal planet Crocoseum. They said it never could be done. Experts from all over the world swore blind that I wouldn't be able to drag 7 crocodiles from ponds back in there all the way in here to the main arena. Woohoo! The proof is in the pudding. We're doing it.
It is time for the main event. The reason we came here. We are at the Crocoseum. They've actually called this place the Crocoseum. It's like a proper stadium. Check this out. The famous Crocoseum. Just down there is where all the chariots come out. Yes! Proper screams for blood. Can't wait.
See how fast he goes on hard, solid ground.
They've literally built this stadium, this amphitheatre. I couldn't get over how big it was. It was crazy. And the show as well. We all had an absolute blast.
This is crazy.
Yeah! Here they come. There were birds flying around. There were snakes sort of being shown to the crowd. There was talk about snake bites, what to do. Crocodiles being fed. All of it, as you can imagine. It was really like full on intense.
Are you ready, group number 2?
Yeah!
You are. Well, get the lungs pumping, because Crikey, on 3, 2, 1.
Crikey!
I heard most of that till my eardrums just popped. That was awesome.
That was sick. What do you think?
That was sick.
After that, we spent the afternoon going to see the rest of the animals. Oh yeah, there was more. We saw more birds, lemurs, giraffes, rhinos, meerkats. You name it, they had it. We also spent a lot of time at the tiger enclosure. Heading to the tiger temple to find out more about tigers, which are my favourite animal. I love tigers, and they had 3 adolescent tigers there. They sort of like, I'd say they were teenagers, and they were awesome. They were running around, playing with the zookeepers, jumping in the water. It was really nice and special to see these guys up close.
Doesn't throw it straight on top like that.
As we were heading out towards the exit at the end of the day, we went back through the Crocosseum, sort of at the bottom ground level, and we found the quiet memorial to Steve. Sadly, as you probably know, Steve Irwin died in 2006 when he was diving with stingrays.
Australian crocodile hunter Steve Irwin has died during a diving expedition near Port Douglas in Australia.
Well, it's reported the environmentalist was killed after being stabbed by a stingray barb in the chest.
I didn't expect to be so moved, but I was. I was really moved by this. There were thousands of messages of grief, thanks and support, and it was really nice. It highlighted the work of Steve. It had a real impact on me. There was one piece on the wall with a quote from Steve himself, and it read, "My job, my mission, the reason I've been put on this planet is to save wildlife, and I thank you for coming with me." This zoo is the living embodiment of Steve's legacy. And the thing I took away from this was that Steve wasn't just a crocodile hunter, he was a conservationist. I think what him and his family have built here is the best example of a zoo, probably the best zoo I've ever been to. There's a lot of debate about whether zoos are they moral? Is it okay for humans to keep these wild animals in enclosures for our entertainment and our benefit? There's a lot of debate there, but I think the reason Australia Zoo is so good is because it's all about the conservation message. Every exhibit, every talk given, it's all about how we as humans can better protect these animals and in many cases save them from extinction. It's very educational. That's really important, especially when you see all of the kids there, all of them soaking this information up. It's really important that this next generation is prepared and ready to take up the conservation fight. And that is a beautiful legacy for Steve and his family. We all had an amazing day, and yeah, I can highly recommend the Australia Zoo.
And this isn't some giant ego trip, It's just that I gotta get the camera, I've gotta be right in there. I have to get right fair smack into the action. Because this day has come where the audience, you, need to come with me and be there with that animal. If there's whales dying on the beach on the western side of Tasmania, I want to share it with you, because if we can touch people about wildlife, then they want to save it. Gone are the days of sitting back on the long lens on the tripod and looking at wildlife way over there. Come with me. Share it with me. Share my wildlife with me, because humans want to save things that they love. My job, my mission, the reason I've been put onto this planet is to save wildlife. And I thank you for coming with me. Yeah, let's get 'em.
Once again, we hit the road in search of a campsite underneath the Glasshouse Mountains. The next morning, we were going to be up bright and early.
Alright, it
Can't
is.
get it.
Is it a mosquito?
Yeah. Sorry. Oh my god.
I don't think you're gonna get him.
I am.
It is day. What?
Stop!
What day is it? Is it the 18th?
Shit, I don't even know. Yeah, 18th.
So it's day 18. We are getting up super early to go and climb Mount Beerwah. It's apparently an interesting climb. So here we go. Alright, we are in the car park, just getting some breakfast ready, and yeah, we're at Mount Beerwah, which is one of the Glasshouse Mountains. The Glasshouse Mountains are these weird mountains which sort of rise up out of nowhere. To me, they look like big termite mounds. I've sent the drone up so you can see. But apparently Captain Cook saw them and he said they remind him of the chimneys, the Glasshouse chimneys from his town back in Yorkshire. So he called them the Glasshouse Mountains. And the reason they rise out up of nowhere, I'm absolutely going to fuck this up because geography is not really my strong point, is because they're like lava plugs, is what I read yesterday. They were let's just explain this in the post edit.
Yeah, thanks Josh. As I was just saying, they are just huge lava plugs. They look very weird because they rise so abruptly out of the ground, out of all this flat terrain, suddenly, woof. It's pretty impressive and pretty awesome to look at. But the reason that they're there, and I've written it down on my phone, 26 million years ago, molten lava cooled very quickly, and it formed very hard rock in the cores of all these volcanoes, which were around 26 million years ago. The surrounding softer rock has since eroded away, leaving these volcanic plugs. So basically the mountains, the Glasshouse Mountains that we're looking at here, are what's left of these volcanoes, where the lava inside these cores has cooled very quickly. Bit of geography for you on whatever day you're watching this.
Now that I've explained what they are, welcome to Mount Beerwah. Some interesting stuff here. It's a steep and strenuous climb with sheer rock faces. Only fit, prepared climbers should proceed. I reckon that's us. Rocks can be slippery and rock falls can happen at any time. Check the weather. Yep, weather's going to be good today. Don't climb alone. No, we're all good. So we are starting here. Go along a little bit and up, all the way to the top. Apparently it's just really good scrambling and rock climbing, so this should be exciting. Like those guys, check them out. That's us. So once we've had some breakfast, I'm going to get the GoPro on, and I'm going to start this climb. So this is Mount Beerwah. You see the cloud is hopefully going to clear by the time we get to the top. And you see here what looks like a little waterfall. That is what we're going to scramble up. If I zoom in, there you go. You can actually see people already starting the climb, and they're going to go up, 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 all the way into the clouds. Although hopefully, by the time that we're doing it and reach that point, the clouds will be gone and we'll be rewarded with a nice view. Alright, GoPro time.
We were probably a little bit naive and unprepared for this one, not gonna lie. Very quickly we arrived at the base of this mountain and we were all kind of looking up like, jeez, this is big and it's steep. The first part of the climb is incredibly steep. It's literally like a sheer rock face rising out of nothing.
There's plenty of footholds.
Yeah, footholds. There weren't any.
Is this the right way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know this was the right way.
There's nice little footholds everywhere.
No, there weren't. I was just lying. We'd read online that the first part of the climb did involve rock climbing, but this was extreme. This was way more than we prepared for. If any of us fell here, it would be very serious injury or even worse. Despite some guidance and words of encouragement, Alice, she very quickly realised this wasn't for her. Very sensible of her, to be honest.
It's alright, if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it, it's okay. It's not an easy climb.
She was bummed out and she was annoyed, but as my granddad always says, the mountain's always going to be there, so it's not going anywhere. You can come back and climb it another day.
Don't be annoyed, it's not an easy thing at all. It's immediately harder than I thought, so...
At the end of the day, safety is paramount. Nothing is worth risking injury or your life for. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So she made the right decision.
Are you going to be alright at the van?
Yeah.
Do you have enough to read?
To be honest, me and Jamie were also looking at each other like, should we just turn around as well? It's kind of...
Alright, Alice is going to go back to the van. Yeah, I've got my phone. Don't blame her at all. It's actually a lot harder than I expected already. There's Jamie down there. You can see it's really not easy to climb up here, especially if you've got a bit of vertigo or you haven't done rock climbing before. So Alice is going to chill. She's got her Kindle. She'll be able to read some books. Me and Jamo are going to try and tackle this beast.
Perhaps we were stupid, but we decided to push on and up. Literally just up. Up this sheer cliff face with no ropes.
So just keep scooting across like a gorilla. I don't know if that's like a technical term.
Not really sure why I told him to act like a gorilla. I think mountain goat would have probably been better. I don't think a gorilla could do this.
Don't look down.
But yeah, don't look down. That's a great piece of advice right there. I'm not saying this is free solo, but it was pretty fucking close.
If you're pushing the edge, eventually you find the edge.
I can't believe you guys are actually gonna watch. Hey Jimmy, do you copy? Just started climbing.
Honestly, I look at this footage and I'm like, what were we doing?
I do hope this is the right way because we're putting in a lot of effort here.
The weird thing about this mountain was that the higher you got, the easier it was, which is kind of weird, right? Usually it's the other way around. So eventually we hit the rainforest, we found ourselves on flatter ground.
How's it going, mate?
Not too bad, mate. Yourself?
All good.
Sweet.
Beautiful day.
That's a go. Okay.
We were probably about halfway up, maybe a little higher, and we were underneath this huge rock face known as the organ pipes.
Holy shit.
So climb is climb, right?
Oh my god. What the hell?
Alright, nice and sweaty. I think we're about halfway up.
Yeah.
We've made it to these organ pipes where rock climbers attach their ropes. Look at that. Oh my god. That's insane. People are rock climbing up this.
I think they've stopped people right now because they've had a few rocks falling.
Yeah.
Because climbers have been putting their ropes in.
That's crazy. And it echoes as well. Woo! Very, very cool.
I'm not a geologist, but this is pretty cool. Pretty cool piece of rock. Huge cliff face. We skirted around and under it, hugging the wall and squeezing in between giant boulders.
Just shimmy through here.
Carry all the water.
Don't know, but lost all my Christmas pounds for this, you know. Just gonna climb on over.
Finally, we came up on the final ascent.
You been to the top yet?
No, not yet. I'm giving up.
I think we may be almost there.
Have a think or hope.
Bit of both.
It had been a hard climb, but that was part of the fun, and the views were more than worth it.
I think this is it. Yes. Woo! Yes. Mount Beerwah. Mount Beerwah was pretty sick. Alice managed to get rid of us a few hours. I'm sure that was enjoyable.
Very nice.
Now we're going to go on a little scenic drive and make our way slowly to Brisbane.
Leaving the Glasshouse Mountains, we hit the road once more, aiming for Australia's third largest city.